Take a look at their lineup, and they feature CJ McCollum, 5th in the country in scoring. The junior, just outstanding, out of Canton, Ohio. McKnight, Hamilton, Adams, and Knutson, the rest of the first 5. Here's Duke with Curry and Thornton, Rivers, and Mason and Miles Plumlee for the Hall of Fame coach, Mike Krzyzewski. Most wins in NCAA history and tournament history. So getting set now, Miles Plumlee, the jump against Gabe Knutson, and the Blue Devils will control it at 27-6. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg here on the floor in Greensboro, North Carolina. What are you looking for here, partner?
Well, can Lehigh rebound effectively with this taller front line of Duke? Miles Plumlee has been outstanding on the glass of late, Jim. In his last 5 games, 51 rebounds, and he started the last 8.
That first foul on McKnight of the Mountain Hawks. He went 26-7 this year. They beat Bucknell to win the conference tournament to get the automatic bid into the field of 68. Beware of the 15s against the 2s after Norfolk State here earlier. And Mason Plumlee gets this game opened up with an exclamation point.
Big time throwdown right there. And that's something to keep an eye on. Can the Plumlees dominate the paint?
Inside, a foul against Rivers as they went back door to Lehigh, getting the ball to Jordan Hamilton.
There's Plumlee coming right down the lane, launching and punching. 2 dribbles and nobody rotates over, and the young fella rising and throwing it down.
That is Hamilton at the line, hitting the first.
Jim, this is a really good offensive team. Lehigh, 76 points a game, make about 7 threes a game. Excellent at the free throw line, 78% as a team, and will run their stuff crisply. And in CJ McCollum, they've got a guy who can go get his own shot and score baskets late in the shot clock.
McCollum, number 3 on that Lehigh side, defending on the ball right here against Rivers.
Good matchup there, because Rivers likes to get to the lane off that quick dribble and explosive first step.
Thornton drive it in off the glass for 2.
Notice Lehigh won't hesitate to push it up. They'll try to get some early offense if they can.
Inside, it's a beauty. What an assist it was by John Adams. Knutson with the basket. Ball set up by John Adams.
Off the dribble penetration, drew defenders and found Knutson. Adams really fighting Mason Plumlee, trying to get into his lower body. Take his legs away from him, negate that size advantage.
This is the 3rd game of the day in Greensboro with Creighton and North Carolina already winning. To advance to a 3rd round matchup between those 2 Sunday. Mason to Miles. Not in time. Shot clock violation.
Not catching it cleanly cost Duke a bucket. Mason Plumlee made the right pass there, but a mishandle led to the shot clock violation. Trying to get CJ McCollum a look.
Here he is. His first shot is a beauty, and it's a 2-point shot. Raises his hands, encourages the Lehigh faithful to keep cheering them on here. They've got a nice little turnout coming down.
They sure do. And their team off to a very strong, confident start.
There's the 2nd dunk of the game by Mason Plumlee.
As I said, Jim, can Lehigh keep the Plumlees from dominating in the paint area? So far, that hasn't been the case. Turnover for numbers now.
Up ahead, number 3 in the first 3 minutes for Mason Plumlee. Getting some high percentage shots.
Can't get any higher percentage than that.
McCollum. That was a three-point try.
And a good
rebound. Yep. Out to Thornton.
Doing a nice job so far hemming in Austin Rivers. Not allowing him to get any penetration here in the early going.
Mountain Hawks come out with it. And that's push off against Curry. All right, let's talk a little bit here about Lehigh, that 26-7 school record number of wins out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. For them, overall, a 5th trip to the NCAA tournament. They were last in the field 2 years ago, got knocked out in the first round by Kansas, 90-74.
And even though they have the 7 losses, Jim, one of 4 teams in the tournament that did not lose a game by double digits this year.
That's
Lehigh.
pretty impressive, isn't it?
Very impressive. The other 3, I'll give you 2 of them, and then you see if you can come up with the 3rd.
Go
Kentucky, Syracuse, and the 3rd team was who?
Murray State.
You got it. You're doing your homework as expected.
Thank you, partner. Knutson. Watch out here. Backcourt violation.
Errant pass by Knutson, and he knows it. Threw it to a spot instead of to his teammate.
Here's Dr. Brett Reed. He's got some history here in Greensboro. He was the director of basketball operations at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro.
And that doctor is a legitimate title.
Yes, it is. He's one of only 3 Division I coaches to earn a doctoral degree. His is in industrial technology. I'll give you a doctorate if you can tell me what that is.
Industrial technology.
And that is off of McCollum.
I have to think about it during the break.
There you go. So Mason Plumlee comes out with a roar. Now it's time for Powerade, powering through. Lehigh's CJ McCollum, Patriot League Player of the Year, ranking 5th in the nation in scoring and 22 points a game, helping lead the Mountain Hawks to this spot into the NCAA tournament field here against Duke.
Went for 29, 5 assists, and 3 steals in the Patriot League championship game against Bucknell. Already over 2,000 points in his career. He's averaged 24 a game in his last 6.
Well, as a freshman, he was on that team that played Kansas. I mentioned the last time the Mountain Hawks were in the tournament. He scored 26 as a freshman in that loss to Kansas in the NCAA tournament. Dawkins on the floor now for Duke.
Dawkins has struggled of late, Jim. He scored only 3 points in his last 5 games. He's only played 63 minutes during that stretch. And Knutson, I think, whistled for the foul as Plumlee anchored in on that weak side board.
For Knutson, his first. And Lehigh is bringing in a sub here. Justin Maneri in for Knutson.
We'll try to manage Knutson's foul situation and give him a blow at the same time. He's a really active, mobile big guy who's counted on the score, so referee getting him out to take a break and avoid picking up that second one.
Rivers too strong with a shot on the drive, and it's McCollum bringing it up for the Mountain Hawks.
He can play off the ball or with the ball, Jim McCollum.
Rivers defending him. Beating the corner. And shot is good. That's a 3 by McKnight.
All tournament team selection in the Patriot League tournament. Average 14 a game. Also had 13 assists and 13 rebounds.
Adams with the steal. 3-on-1. And Hamilton finally gets the handle and a foul and a basket. He was slipping out of his fingers as he was going up, and he was able to steady himself and draw the foul on Dawkins.
And that's just a play where Dawkins has to be more assertive and aggressive if he's going to stop a guy going in for the layup. If you're going to foul him, make sure he doesn't get it up on the rim. And here in the early going, you can see that Lehigh looking to push it, Jim. They're a team that likes to play in the open court. Will attack that basket. Duke's going to have to get back in transition and be alert there.
Plumlee keeps it alive, gets it back in his foul. He can tie it at the line. Miles Plumlee this time.
He leads them in offensive rebounds, Jim, and again on that weak side, clearly a hack and good strength by Plumlee and concentration. Have a chance for the three-point play to even this one up.
Yeah, it was Maneri on the foul. Short with the shot was McCollum soaring through for the rebound. 11-10, Mountain Hawks in the game's first 6 minutes.
Thornton matched up with McCollum.
McKnight had hit the three before. Maneri keeps it alive. Back out to McCollum. Dawkins draws this assignment. McCollum zips right past him, takes it in. Shot forced or influenced by Miles Plumlee there to defend.
Thought he had the jump shot at about the foul line and tried to get some more out of it.
Dawkins. He's in his first two from the outside to take off again. Up ahead, Hamilton takes a little spill as he'll head back to the line.
Already Duke now has been caught twice in transition.
Kind of surprising, isn't it?
It is a bit. But Lehigh doing a good job of running the lane, sprinting out. A couple of long misses can often be the first pass to a fast break. You got to make sure defensive balance is maintained. If you're not the shooter in that situation, that other guard has to get back.
So Thornton picks up his first, and Hamilton will have another free throw. Mason Plumlee back in for Thornton. Hairston also out. Cook on the floor, first minutes for the Duke backup guard, the freshman for Bowie, Maryland. Hamilton 2 out of 2 that time, and the lead is back to 3 for Lehigh. Real battle for position, and that's going to be a call on Griner. Holden Griner and Mason Plumlee were really going after trying to establish position. Coming up, AT&T at the half, getting caught up on all the latest tournament news, the highlights, updates coming up on AT&T at the half. Well, that is a foul before the shot. Of course, all the talk here now is going to be about Norfolk State. So many people, even right down to the president, had Missouri coming out of that bracket. I mean, everybody looked at when the brackets came out. I heard all the outcries on all these radio shows. And you know who you are out there, by the way, making this big deal about Missouri. Maybe should have been a 1. Didn't agree with the committee that they were the last on the 2 line. And they're the first Sweet 16 seed to be eliminated in this tournament. The first 1 through 4 to go out. As Norfolk State, what did we say? The 5th time, but the first time in 11 years.
Since 2011, when Hampton took out Iowa State.
Almost got the 3.
Good look, though. Good execution so far by Lehigh and showing a lot of grit. The question is going to be, can they compete inside if Duke elects to try to exploit the advantage that Plumlee's had? Duke is a team that shoots 38% of its field goal attempts from the three-point line. Tonight, they need to make sure that they start looking inside something.
All tapped around from the floor, McCollum. Maneri. Back over to McCollum. And it's going to be a foul on Curry. That's his second. Lehigh leads it. Little Rick Majerus, Josh Pastner matchup. Here it's Curry on the bench with 2 fouls for Duke. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg, and Tracy Wolfson here in Greensboro. Lehigh to inbound. Adams gets free and too strong with the shot. Rivers switch off on him.
Just temporarily, just enough to give McCollum a chance to get back.
Rivers hasn't scored to this point in the game.
Who's going to create a shot opportunity for Duke here? Lehigh doing a nice job containing the ball. Duke really doesn't have creators other than Austin Rivers.
At 5 on the shot clock. Put in the lane. Dipsy-do, no. Tapped around, picked up. No look pass. Plumlee able to finish it off, but the play made by Quinn Cook.
Plumlee may have gotten fouled there. He certainly wanted a call. Cook has almost a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, Jim. Nice pass there, good move by McCollum.
Lehigh now has missed its last 7 shots. But here comes McCollum. Miles Plumlee with target ropes.
And he made sure that he wasn't going to try to make a play on the block by going in with 2 hands to dunk it. Good defense here by McKnight.
Mason Plumlee takes the step. His 4th basket of the game.
That's where the difference in this game is going to have to be for Duke, Jim. They've got to be intentional and deliberate about throwing that ball in the paint. Even to the sacrifice of some good 3-point looks.
Wild shot by McCollum that time from the floor. Mason Plumlee gets it to Cook. Cook trying to make the move. Shut off to Dawkins. Dawkins on balance. Tapped up, no. Rebound Lehigh. B.J. Bailey on the floor, number 32 for Lehigh. That's McKnight. Duke with that big size advantage. Miles Plumlee with another rebound. He had 22 rebounds in a game against Maryland, most ever by a player under Coach K at Duke. And since that time, Miles Plumlee really has, the senior, finishing his campaign as a Blue Devil in really strong fashion. 4 on the shot clock. Rivers has to take it. And Adams did a good job of boxing out Plumlee to the side. Up ahead, McCollum. And yes! To the line and 1.
Tell you what, Lehigh has really exploited Duke in transition. This is the 4th time they've had an opportunity in the open court, and CJ McCollum makes it happen. Nice crossover right there. And Andre Dawkins was backpedaling. That change of direction got McCollum in position for the score.
It's a 2nd foul on Dawkins. You mentioned that McCollum is a 2,000-point scorer. He's just a junior. There are 8 active Division I players who have put up 2,000 points in a career. He's the only non-senior on that list.
Going to get his first rest of the night.
So Dawkins with 2. Curry has 2. Hamilton comes to the floor, giving McCollum a little break here as we're inside of a minute before the next media timeout under 8. Give him an extended breather. Dawkins now 0 for 4. Watch out for him. He gets off to a slow start shooting. Sometimes it affects his whole game.
Exactly. And he has struggled of late. I mentioned earlier, just 3 points in his last 5 games. He's made the most threes. There's Mackey and McKnight unable to finish there. Good drive. They're missing some good opportunities here, Jim.
He really made a great move, but just missed a short shot this year. Enjoy more madness with Coke Zero. Text DUNK to 26553 for a chance to win a trip to the 2012 NCAA Men's Final Four. Away from the ball, foul is going to be on B.J. Bailey of the Mountain Hawks. I keep wanting to call them the Engineers. That was their nickname up till about 15 years ago. They wanted to be able to express to people that it's more than just an engineering school, and had a little contest and changed the nickname to the Mountain Hawks. They'd like to have the nickname Cinderella before night's in.
Well, they're moving in that direction with a long way to go, but a really good start thus far.
Oh, that looked clean. It's going to be a foul on Hamilton. It's ruled a foul. We've got a break in the action. Let's take a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight. Brett Reed, Dr. Brett Reed again. 5 years, done a terrific job there at Lehigh. The winningest coach, though, in Lehigh history. How about this? Our old colleague, my dear friend, Billy Packer, his father, Tony Packer, the winningest coach ever. Billy and his wife, Barbara, 90 minutes down the road in Charlotte. We sent our best to both of them.
Yes, we do. You can see Billy's face all
No
in
question
Tony's,
about
can't you?
Billy used to hang around Grace Hall there and ball boy and attend practice before he came here to the state of North Carolina, and went on to have a fabulous career in the backcourt for Wake Forest. Took them to the 1962 Final Four, all ACC performer. And sending our best. He's got to be enjoying this effort of Lehigh to this point. Under 8 minutes to go in the first half, and the Mountain Hawks lead it by 3.
Well, Duke winning the battle points in the paint, but a couple of fast break opportunities for Lehigh, and the free throw advantage belongs to the Mountain Hawks.
McCollum gives it up last minute. Hamilton, an open shot. Maneri inside off the glass.
Another good opportunity missed. A good three, and then a putback.
They've had a couple of really short shots, but they rushed a bit. We've seen Plumlee now trying to get baseline. Gets rid of it. To Curry, who's back on the floor with 2 fouls. Thornton to tie it. And William Maneri diving on the floor. It'll stay with Duke. Maneri showed a lot of hustle at the other end. Missed a chippy shot, but
gave it every bit of effort he could there, and fortunate to come up no worse for the fall. See Duke 0 of 8 from behind the three-point line. Big part of the arsenal for the Blue Devils. They make 8 a game, Jim, on average. But the defense of Lehigh has been excellent. They've been pretty disciplined on the perimeter, have done a good job kind of hedging and then getting back to the ball handler. And that time they force a turnover.
And you've been really amazed at how many times you've seen Lehigh on the break.
Yeah, they've been able to get out in the open court. They've scored 6 fast break points, 2 of them right there. Here's CJ McCollum. Not going to give Plumlee any chance to block that one by dunking it. And then CJ McCollum again. Plus 4 fast break points for Lehigh. They can just idle down and knock down some of these good shots they've gotten. They'd be up much more than just 3. Duke, on the other hand, has to continue to pound it inside and then also get somebody to knock down a 3-point shot for him.
Just Bailey and a push-off call against Rivers, his second. That's 3 Duke players now with 2 fouls. Rivers, Dawkins, Curry. Dawkins coming back on the floor as you see all the scores, all the other action, and where you can see those games.
And this is a team, Jim, you do not want to send to the foul line. Lehigh, 78% as a team.
1-1.
Didn't cash in there.
been saying that a lot. I mean, Lehigh leading it and has had a number of opportunities to even widen the lead. There's Curry. He got fouled by Bailey, and Curry will have 3 at the line.
And he is an excellent free throw shooter, Seth Curry. 88%.
Second foul on Bailey.
He lunged and didn't go by him. He went into him. If you're going to challenge a three-point shooter, you've got to make sure you run by him. Seth Curry doing a nice job to make sure contact was made. But you see that often with young players. They get their body right square on. You've got to run by that shooter if you're going to challenge his three.
Duke 1 of 4 at the line. And he got the last 2. One-point game. Lehigh leads it. Had a slim lead most of the way. McCollum. He draws the foul at the other end, and it's on Mason Plumlee. His first.
That's been one of the issues for Duke all year, being able to control the dribble. And McCollum expecting contact, looking for it right between the Plumlee brothers, able to draw the foul. I would expect Lehigh to continue to operate in pick and roll situations to try to get McCollum to keep pressure on the Duke defense and get himself to the line.
And 1 of 2. Back to a 19-17 lead for Lehigh. And a steal up ahead to McKnight. 21-17.
Boy, the defensive pressure of Lehigh. Mackie McKnight, CJ McCollum doing an outstanding job. Staying on the ground for the most part, controlling the dribble, not getting beat. Making it really tough for Duke to get loose on the perimeter.
And a 4th dunk of the night for Mason Plumlee. Duke's first basket in some 5 minutes. Plumlee has 10 of Duke's 19. Good pass. Maneri waits. Oh, and there's a foul. They may want to count that basket.
Tatum was on the way up. Zelton Sneed pointing to the backboard, indicating the ball was still on its way up. We'll take a look at it. Ball clearly on its way up. Yep. Good call. From a different angle, even better to see it from there. Clean block.
First foul on Miles Plumlee. Maneri. Now this is an interesting approach to a free throw. You get the 3 players with 2 fouls on the Duke side. Miles Plumlee just picking up his first. Watch this form right here from Maneri.
Bit of a shot for them.
Yeah, it is.
About as heavy as one.
That's a charge, they call it. Second foul on Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, let's take another look. Adams fighting him. Maneri comes in. That's a good call. He was clearly there in legal guarding position outside of the reach. Oh, that's blatantly clear. Right through his chest. Mason Plumlee tried to go.
It's going to be on Maneri. His second. That screen almost knocked over Curry. And here's Hairston back on the floor. Maneri to the bench with 2 fouls. Knutson returns, the starter.
I'll tell you what, Brett Reed got pretty good production out of Maneri and was able to rest Knutson, who had picked up a foul earlier. Duke just not able to knock down perimeter shots so far this first half.
McKnight's on the floor in trouble, fighting for it. Able to muscle out with the ball, surrounded by 2 Duke players. Kid McKnight's impressive. He's from New Orleans. Low pass that time. Knutson able to handle it. Here's McKnight. Loading up the 3. Rebound to Hairston. 3.5 to go first half. Lehigh continues to hold on to that lead. Hairston jump shot. Ties it.
Nicely done. Good pick and roll that time.
The first basket by Duke outside of the paint.
Pick and pop action that time. Well executed by Dawkins and Hairston. Switch, he's going to clear this out. It looks like McCollum going to try to take Hairston.
Past it by Norman and hits the baseline shot.
This kid's got a lot of game, and he doesn't lack for confidence either. He's the kind of guy, Jim, when you look at his ability at both ends of the floor, he can beat you a lot of different ways.
Foul on the shot. Foul on McCollum. Free throws coming up. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg, Tracy Wolfson. Duke hit its first 4 shots of the night, but since then 5 out of 19, and trailing the Mountain Hawks. The confidence of CJ McCollum, it's apparent through that whole team.
Without question, he's got 10 points in transition here in a tough one-on-one move against Josh Hairston. He just isolated when he saw he had the bigger player on him, and this young man has averaged 21 points a game for his career. You talked about him going over 2,000 already, and only a junior.
Picked up the foul right before the break, and it was his first. Curry can tie it with the second free throw. Just 2.5 to go in the first half. How about the pace of this game? We're just in the low 20s here.
Well, that's more a function of missing shots than pace, Jim. Both of these teams have not shot it well. It's been a brisk pace.
Austin Rivers back on the floor. He's 0 for 3 from the field. Scored 1 point so far.
I think both teams have done a pretty good job defensively, too.
Here's McCollum. Feeds the corner. Adams with the 3. John Adams.
That play created by the penetration of CJ McCollum.
Rivers on the board with a field goal for the first time. Duke's leading scorer now with 4 on the night. And again, we're tied, 26.
Well, you love this young man's demeanor. Austin Rivers hasn't gone that great for him as McCollum pulls up, gets a good look at it. That foul is going to be on Mackie McKnight. Good job by Thornton. But talking about Austin Rivers, up until that shot went down, he hadn't found much of a rhythm. 0 of 3. Didn't force. I only can recall one of those 3 shots being a force. Just staying right with it. And you know the kid is always ready to step up and take a big shot.
That foul on McKnight, his second. Double bonus, 2 at the line for Thornton. Back out, Quinn Cook. Rivers to the bench.
I got the floor for the Blue Devils to Quinn Cook.
2 for 2 by Thornton. Duke's got the lead at 28-26. The last 2 times down the floor, he's taken shots, wanted the ball. Ball's going to go to Duke.
Forrest, that one was well challenged by Cook. And then Adams coming in. Quinn Cook able to get it off his leg.
So just a short break for Rivers, who returns with 1:20 to go.
For Lehigh, 32, CJ McCollum.
Miles Plumlee not accustomed to that.
Well, he got that ball away from his body too far, Jim, and made it an easy play for Knutson to get a hand on it.
Lehigh with a timeout. 52 seconds to go, first half. I recognize that smile. I got to give you credit. I mean, your son's playing in the NCAA tournament. You're working. It's got to be tough. I mean, your emotions, I know, are at that game.
They are, but it is what it is. And my wife and our oldest son are there. He's got plenty of support, family, friends, all over the place. And I'm glad to see the Bobcats off to a terrific start. And hopefully they can maintain it. It will be a great story. And I'm proud of my young fella. He's doing a good job, not just between the lines, but outside of them, too.
There you go. Just like his dad.
Appreciate that, partner.
25 seconds to go. With a dazzling move to tie the game at 28. We've got about a 4-second differential here, and Duke wants to talk things over. Timeout, Blue Devils. McCollum's best move of the night right here. Well, things have certainly gotten a little wackier for the 2012 tournament today, after only one game yesterday decided by 3 points or fewer. And Virginia Commonwealth Wichita State game, the closest of the first day, really. And here we've already had one tight one on this floor, with Creighton over Alabama by 1 to open up the day. And of course the shocker, Norfolk State over Missouri, knocking out the 2 seed. Duke with 24 seconds on the shot clock. Again, a 4-second differential.
Well, Lehigh wants to defend well here, and then if the shot is missed, defensive rebound and have a chance perhaps at a last-second shot.
Quick at the commands, gives it up to Rivers. Into the Dawkins. Pull up 2, it's in.
Very nice.
5 seconds to go on the half. Adams up ahead. Hamilton on the run. Just launched it in the area. And Duke goes to the locker room, leading by 2. Lehigh led it by 4 at 21-17 with 5 minutes remaining. Then Duke a 13-7 stretch those last 5 minutes to grab the halftime lead by a bucket. Let's go over to Tracy Wolfson.
Coach, without Kelly, you continue to struggle from the perimeter. How do you get those shots going?
No, we're having a tough time scoring. They're playing good defense, and we still haven't made the adjustment with Ryan being out, and we just have to execute better. But they're a good, they're a really good team, and we're limited. We're more limited now with Ryan being out.
Thanks a lot.
All right,
Jim.
All right, Tracy, you saw 1 out of 10 from 3. Rivers the only one to make one for the Blue Devils. McCollum with 12, leading all scorers. We'll continue here on CBS in a moment. Back in Greensboro, the Lehigh contingent loving it so far, and we're about to begin the second half. They fixed the net. Maybe Dr. James Naismith knew what he was doing with the peach baskets. We got a little bit of jawing going on between a couple of players out here, and there you go.
Good job by Zelton Sneed to jump in and say, fellas, come on now. No jaw jacking. Let's just play basketball.
McCollum and Thornton.
Zelton Sneed, I should say. I think I may have said Sneed.
Stolen away by Curry. Down low, and look at McKnight from the floor.
What a play.
Reach up and just pull it right out of his hands.
And that was after hitting the deck on the turnover.
His foul on the shot. Just love this effort from the floor.
Yes, sir.
Mackie McKnight.
He's been playing exceptionally well of late. Talked about his play in the Patriot League tournament. This young man is really oozing with confidence. Displaying quite a bit of poise out there as well.
Has a third foul on Curry.
Big there.
McKnight was born in New Orleans, but really raised in Houston. He recently lost his best buddy, Joe McMillan. They grew up as kids, playing those one-on-one games on the floor, imagining you're one team or the other. McKnight was always Duke, and his buddy Joe was always North Carolina. He was thrilled when he saw that he had the chance to go against Duke, team that he admired so much as a kid. Remembering his friend Joe tonight. Here's Curry, back of the rim. The long rebound to Thornton. Ball was kicked. John Adams was saying, what about that traveling call? Not to be confused with John Adams, the director of officials for the NCAA tournament, even though he's doing a little officiating here. Adams of Lehigh.
Curry going to stay out there with the 3 fouls for Duke. And he's able to draw one on Hamilton there.
Yeah, Hamilton's second.
Charges to Lehigh, number 44, Jordan Hamilton.
You mentioned it, Jim. More fouls than field goals made in that first half.
Interesting words, comments from Coach Reed of Lehigh.
Good work. Feels like his team left a little out there in the first half as far as proficiency.
There you go. It's Thornton to Mason Plumlee. Been teeing that one up for a while. That's Duke's largest lead of the night at 3. Plumlee now with 5 dunks, 6 of 6 from the field. Knutson rips a 3. Couple more like that, they may have to change that net out again.
Penetration by CJ McCollum. Sucks that defense in and leaves Knutson wide open.
Ties the game at 32. Thornton answering back and rattles home his own 3. McCollum.
And that's the 4th on Curry. Well, Duke has had success all game long in the paint area. This time they go way over the top of the defense. Thornton sees Plumlee on that backside, and there's nobody from Lehigh going to get up there and bother that. That's the 4th foul on Curry.
Andre Dawkins replaces Curry in the lineup. Hamilton jumper.
So Duke loses a ball handler and a 3-point shooter and a pretty good perimeter defender, with Seth Curry now having to sit for a while. Nice
They go to the other side, and Duke now increases that lead to 5.
Good timeout here. Just to
Timeout.
settle down and try to stem the tide a little bit.
Dr. Brett Reed calls it from the sideline. There are some foul issues on that Duke side with Curry sitting down with 4. The Blue Devils with a good start here to the second half.
And again, Curry, a ball handler, a 3-point shooter, good perimeter defender. So now you put Thornton on CJ McCollum. He was on him some in the first half as well. Switch here, where McCollum has to be patient.
McCollum long with that one. It's Adams taking it inside and drawing a foul. So Thornton, that's his second. And Adams, they say, was shooting, so a couple coming up here for the senior from Cupertino, California, Northern California. parents, Tom and Clara, they travel to most of his games, all the way out from California, catch up with the son they're so proud of. John, senior. Lehigh, by the way, is about an hour's drive outside of Philadelphia, about a 90-minute drive outside of New York. Give or take a little bit, depending on traffic. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Here's Hairston. He box out by the Mountain Hawks. And McCollum taken off to the rim and followed up by Knutson and one. Just like that, Lehigh is a free throw away from tying this.
Again in transition, Jim. The push of the ball by McCollum. Numbers advantage on the attack. He may have gotten bumped there. No call. But because everybody was going after the shot attempt, that left Knutson loose on the board.
And now Mason Plumlee has 3 fouls.
Boy, that's becoming the story. I mean, a long way to go. And 2 key players with foul trouble for Duke.
Adams had his hands on it for a minute, but then his pass was intercepted. So Duke still holds that 1-point lead. Hairston, that's a 2.
Well, that's a shot that Hairston has had available to him a couple of times, but maybe you move it around and get it in somebody else's hands. This is where you miss a guy like Kelly, who's so proficient at those kinds of opportunities.
McCollum leads through and knocks it down, banks it off the glass for the lead. Lehigh 38-37. What a beautiful step to the basket. Taking it to the far side, McCollum. Number 14. That's last touch by the Mountain Hawks. Teams head to the benches. Down 5 just a short while ago. Lehigh has the lead again. Well, if you're just coming in from dinner out, this is not a mistake. 38-37 is the score. Lehigh leading it 4.5 minutes into the second half.
Seth Curry with 4 fouls and Mason Plumlee with 3. You see them both in the middle of your screen there.
Talking about a great timeout called by Reed when they were down 5 and trying to set up a play. He's afraid things were getting away from him. His team has scored 6 unanswered since that timeout.
That's what you call nipping the run in the bud. Good take by Rivers.
Plumlee trying to save it. Right into the arms of Hamilton. McCollum again taking it to the hole, and he draws the foul.
They don't have an answer for him right now.
And he's starting to have a whole lot of fun. Been waving on that crowd, encouraging the Lehigh faithful. Get coverage of the Division I women's basketball tournament at NCAA.com/Final Four. Dawkins with his 3rd foul.
And Duke already with 5 team fouls, Jim. Lehigh has only committed 1. And you talk about an underdog, although they've not looked the part here tonight. But you talk about a team that's a good free throw shooting team with a player the caliber of McCollum. You get that opponent in the penalty. And now you put it in his hands and he can start to really wreak havoc. Long way to go before that happens, but something to think about.
You saw Griner come back into the lineup for Lehigh. He's averages 10 a game, has not scored in this one. Duke feeding the post. And that's a traveling call. Turnover number 8 on the Blue Devils. Duke has played 12 NCAA tournament games right here in this arena. 12-0 in the Greensboro Coliseum. In fact, in '92 and 2001, their national championship runs began with 2 wins in Greensboro. Here's Griner. As mentioned, he hadn't scored, and he's off on the 3. Loose ball into the hands of Cook. To the corner, Dawkins. And that's Rivers saving it for the Devils.
I really think Duke might be better served to try to get some quick hitting opportunities as opposed to working against good defense in the half court from Lehigh. They can get missed shots and rebound those and try to push it ahead. It might create more scoring opportunities or easier ones.
Now the first concern on the foul side for Lehigh. That's McKnight's third. Duke has gone scoreless the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Surrendering a 5-point lead. Now trailing by 2.
Well, Plumlee's open and they elect not to give it to him.
Rivers. And Duke has the lead back. The freshman from Winter Park, Florida. Finds it from 3.
Well, he's the one guy out there for Duke that can go get his shot.
That's a charge on McCollum. And it's Thornton, the glue, the guy who does all the little things for him, is the one who is able to draw it.
Yep, you saw the wing. Watch the chicken wing, the left arm, actually the right arm of McCollum. Clearly got it up into the chest of Thornton.
It's the second foul on McCollum. Rivers. And that was in the act of shooting.
That's what Austin Rivers can do. He's got size. He's got an explosive first step. Pretty tight handle, and he's able to draw the third foul on McCollum now.
Yeah, those back-to-back fouls on McCollum. Just motoring along with only one foul that gets called for the charge at one end, and then the hack and the act of shooting at the other. And now he's a concern at 3 fouls. 2 fouls in 12 seconds. PJ Bailey back on the floor, coming in for Hamilton.
On substitution. 32
So Rivers at the line, first team all conference, all ACC, just the 7th freshman to ever make first team, the first since Kyler Hansbrough to get that great designation. Big blood pressure coming from the Devils.
Just a little token pressure just to make Lehigh think about it a little bit. Love the way Thornton gets down in his stance defensively.
The basket goes, and the basket will count.
Big time move right there, partner. I mean, that's pretty decent. He does get the corner turn, and then Thornton late getting there and then just bumps him enough from behind.
Look at the adjustment when he saw that Mason Plumlee was waiting for him. He shifted it over to his left hand. 17 points now for McCollum. That's the 3rd foul on Thornton.
The 6th on Duke as a team, so the next common foul, and Lehigh's in the bonus.
And you said it, they're an excellent free throw shooting team.
Have not been very good tonight, at least well below the norm.
The 78% on the season. We have our 9th tie of the game. Duke's turned it over right through the hands of Dawkins. McKnight. Oh, what a move past Dawkins. Rebounded up by Mary, and Lehigh has that lead. Mary with a very scrappy first half, hitting the floor a few times.
Doing his job and playing his role.
Rivers. Nice move to try to free himself, get some separation off on the shot. With the ball and the lead. McCollum. The lead is 5.
Play through Austin Rivers pick and roll action. Somebody's got to be able to spray a deep shot though.
Cook misses on a 3. A 15-5 run by the Mountain Hawks.
And you figure they'll play through CJ McCollum. and Mackey, two excellent ball handlers and creators.
Bailey spinning, driving wildly off the back of the board. Tapped up ahead to Thornton. Tiptoes down that sideline, stays in. McCollum got a hand on it, but this time his foot's on the line, and it'll take us to a break. Wow. A thriller brewing here in Greensboro. McCollum has him up 5. Ball belongs to Duke. Blue Devils have the arrow, but Lehigh has the lead. And Duke only 3 out of 17 from behind the arc.
And they've gotten some good looks for some pretty good three-point shooters. Curry, Dawkins again. I think they've got to get away from looking for that three-point shot. They've got to try to throw the ball inside.
Hey, they bring Curry back to the floor with his 4 fouls.
Well, they didn't have the Plumlees out there initially, so now they've got both Plumlees, so they're going to look to go inside, I would think, Jim.
Curry with the 4 fouls had set the last 6.5 minutes. Here's Mason Plumlee. He traveled. That was Maneri putting the extra heat on him.
Well, if he catches it in there, he's got to think about scoring, not trying to create a pass. And his teammates have to make sure they clear space so he can go one-on-one.
Reiner. Still looking for his first basket. The possession a little quick for Lehigh with that 5-point lead. And a foul coming up outside on Bailey. Get live tournament coverage, scores, and stats on your mobile device with the free app from CBS Sports. To download, text CBS to 42777. That's the 3rd foul on Bailey. Duke to inbound. Team foul number 5. To Mason Plumlee. They'll work it free for the basket.
That's what they've got to do, a little pseudo penetration, but somehow they've got to make sure they get that ball inside and see if Plumlee can go to work. And when he catches it, he's got to be thinking score.
McCollum comes out high to get it with 15 on the shot clock. To the corner to Bailey. And with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Bailey, long range 3. Reiner is there, and Duke will get the ball. Touched last by Lehigh.
Late shot, late clock shot. Let's see if, oh, that ball looked like it may have gone off Plumlee. Defend without fouling if you're Lehigh, and Rivers looking to go to the left hand.
Big time move by Austin Rivers.
Duke is going to play through Austin Rivers and trying to throw it into the post. That's what they should be doing. Looking inside first and allowing him to go one-on-one if that's not there. Lehigh has to make sure that they play through CJ McCollum.
McCollum puts a quick shot. Again, a short possession.
And a 4 shot that time. 2 of them, 2 4 shots early, and then a late shot on a forced 3-pointer.
Last 3 trips. Empty.
Lehigh a little bit out of character there.
Duke with a chance to take the lead. Timeout, Coach K. 8:52 to go, a nail-biter in North Carolina. Duke will be inbounding, coming out of a Blue Devil timeout. McCollum with 21 points, leading the way for the Mountain Hawks. 9 in the second half.
He is terrific because he can pull up off the dribble. He's also creative when he gets in the lane and is able to finish. Lehigh has had 3 bad possessions the last 3 trips. Called play for Duke to get it inside. A miscalculation on the pass by Rivers.
Curry with the 3, touchdown and out. Mason Plumlee picks up the loose change and a foul.
Maneri thought he got shoved, and he's losing his composure here. He's got to settle himself down. Excellent work by Plumlee, though. There was contact in there, but when you're in the land of the paint, going after rebound, there's a lot of latitude for thumping and bumping.
Blue Devils have come back from 5 down. Scored the last 6. Can add another point here with Mason Plumlee to the line.
2 inside field goals by Plumlee. As Knutson comes back in, Maneri going to take a seat. And then a floater by Rivers, making up that 6-point mini surge by Duke.
Mason 8 of 8 from the line, up in the field, and a rebound picked up by Rivers, and he's going to the line. So those last 2 fouls have been on John Adams.
Plumlee, a much improved free throw shooter here late in the season, Jim. Made 19 of 23 in his last 4 games, Mason had.
Rivers will go to the line for 2 shots.
Well, he's been perfect from the field tonight.
Well, everything's been around the rim. Short on that one, did Austin Rivers.
Adams 2 fouls in 3 seconds of action. Now
Duke in the bonus from here on out. The next foul by the Blue Devils sends Lehigh to the bonus.
Lehigh, as you see Maneri to the bench. Knutson back on the floor. Lehigh has gone 3.5 minutes without scoring.
Need a good possession here. Patience, execute.
McKnight, the 3.
That'll work. That qualifies.
Ends a 7-0 Blue Devil run. Gives the Mountain Hawks the lead by 1. With 8 minutes remaining. It's been tight throughout.
I think they've got to really try to get that ball in the Plumlee, trying to go one-on-one now.
Curry. Plumlee tapped to Plumlee. Snap it back outside. And 3 no. By Thornton. And that's off the leg of Adams. Heads up play, Mason Plumlee. Got a break in the action. Duke ball when we come back, but Lehigh has the lead again. And here we've had 9 ties and 9 lead changes. For each side, the biggest lead of the game has been 5. 7:42 to play. Down low. Ball stripped away by Adams.
Triple team.
They did, didn't they? They triple teamed, and Adams dropped back down and just took it right out of the hands of Mason Plumlee.
Now this is where you move the defense here if you're Lehigh, and then try to get something that CJ McCollum is able to do after you've spent some time utilizing clock. Actually, they're going to let McKnight create, and there's Adams.
Adams 3-pointer. Tapped out to Knutson. Put it on the floor and was fouled.
Well, the fact that they've got Adams who can shoot the 3, a pick and pop option is available. And that's the 4th foul on Mason Plumlee.
Knutson at the line. It's a 2-point lead.
Doing a nice job fronting Plumlee in the low post area.
Curry comes out of it. Back to Rivers with 10 on the shot clock. Rivers to top, short. Rebound out to McCollum. And there's a foul.
They're going to call an intentional there. Because Seth Curry, if that's his, he'll be Dairy Queen, DQ. Let's take a look. Mad scramble for this long rebound. Wow, let's take a look at this foul here. I don't know if that's intentional there. I don't think it is. I just thought that was a common foul, but they did call it intentional. I disagree with that. Didn't seem like he had any. He didn't grab him. He didn't trip him.
I didn't see it.
There was no intentionality there. It was just a common foul, I thought. Boy, this is huge. Because that means you get free throws plus the ball.
Plus possession. They still haven't clarified who the foul was on. And I think it's going to be on Thornton, not
okay.
Curry.
Okay.
And they're going to say it was intentional. So McCollum.
Well, I was looking at Seth Curry, so I wasn't even paying attention to Thornton.
McCollum will get 2 free throws. The Mountain Hawks will get possession. One of 2. 3 Duke players now saddled with 4 fouls. Thornton's going to go out. Dawkins is coming back in. 53-49 Lehigh. The last 6 have gone their way.
It's been a game of little mini surges.
Yes, it has. Like little 6-point runs back and forth.
This is where Adams is dangerous because he can shoot the 3.
That 3 rims out. Knocked out by Bailey. Ball belongs to Duke. A Lehigh team that was 26-7 this year beat Bucknell in the Patriot League final 82-77 to make it to the dance. Seeded 15th.
And had to do that at Bucknell. Bucknell has won the regular season conference championship and earned the right to host the conference final, conference tournament final.
Bucknell, which had its own shocking win a few years back, as a 14-3 against Kansas. Put up by Rivers against the roll.
Oh, he is something else, isn't he? Really tough, creative, and likes these kinds of moments. Doesn't shy away from it at all. And that is impressive.
14 points for Rivers. 10 coming in this half. McCollum trying to take him on. Blocked. Knutson sends it back outside.
On the shot clock now.
Here's the guy they want the ball in the hands of. Wrap around pass. Knutson. McCollum, what an assist.
What a pass.
We reached the 5-minute mark, and Lehigh leads it by 4.
Yeah, he looked off the defenders there. They thought he was going to the corner, and Knutson, that's a heck of a catch and finish as well.
Rivers lost it. Outside, it's McKnight. Not that time. And again, he was open with a quick trip. Curry getting past defender. Shots up. Rims out. Rebound to Adams.
Boy, he got bumped there. I thought he got bumped on his way to the hoop, Jim. No whistle.
A Lehigh program that has never won an NCAA tournament game. Taking on one of the superpowers in their home state. And leading with 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go. McCollum drives in. It's going to be against Plumlee. Second on Miles Plumlee.
Let's see if, in fact, Plumlee is able to get outside. He was outside of the restricted area arc, but was deemed to be under the shooter, because he clearly was outside of the restricted area arc.
It has not been as easy, as good a shooter as he is. He's missed 3 of them tonight. 6 out of 9. He's got 1 more coming.
That time by Thornton, he gets it back
and sets up Plumlee. What a turn of events right there. Could have been Lehigh's possession and a 5-point lead. Instead, it's down to 3. The helter-skelter nature of the last 5 minutes of an NCAA tournament game with a season on the line. Here's Knudsen in trouble. McCollum, jumper, back of the rim, rebound Curry. He was trying to dunk once more.
He sure was, and that's the way you've got to go to the basket late in a tight game. Don't leave anything to chance. Big play here by Thornton. Pilfer, nice pass and a punch. And we're going right down to the wire, Mason Plumlee.
Back here courtside along Clark Kellogg Gym Nance, with Duke sending Mason Plumlee to the line for 2 free throws. Adams collecting his 3rd foul. And what do we have in store for this final 3:13, Clark?
Well, it's all about getting the ball in your playmaker's hands. As you look at Mason Plumlee, a much improved free throw shooter of late, brings Duke to within 2. I've been saying it for the last 10 minutes. Duke needs to play inside out. They've got a playmaker in Austin Rivers, but they first need to try to probe inside and not settle for quick perimeter shots. Lehigh, on the other hand, a couple of playmakers. The guy with the ball, Mackie McKnight, certainly CJ McCollum. They've got to make sure they get a good possession every time.
Here's McCollum slashing in and blocked by Plumlee.
That was a called play because of the back cut executed, but McCollum denied at the rim.
Plumlee was waiting for him. Plumlee having a big game.
And I don't think you sit on it if you're Lehigh. Judicious with the clock, but you try to attack.
Knudsen pulls it down. Rivers missing on the drive. And now 2.5 minutes to play with a 2-point lead.
I think CJ McCollum can get a shot for somebody else. He doesn't necessarily have to shoot it unless he's wide open.
Oh, how about that? Kid's amazing. Hasn't hit one tonight from out there. Dawkins fakes. Drives in. Short. Lehigh has the rebound. 2 minutes to go. Adams gets past the ball, and Lehigh with its largest lead of the night. Timeout, Duke. Absolute madness. Well, through the tournament's incredible history, it's programs like Duke that get championships. Coach K, certainly with a number of them, 4. But it's efforts like this by Lehigh that have given this tournament its spirit. The little guy given one chance to slay the Giants. 1:44 to go. Plumlee doubled up. Plumlee desperate for some help. Curry, top of the key with a three. Gets the bounce. Big shot for Duke. And a timeout called. Front of the rim, off the glass, and in, and it's down to 4. This band of believers from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, call that town Christmas City. And I tell you, Christmas or Mardi Gras or something. It's going to break out here in a minute and 31 seconds if somehow they hold on and shock the second-seeded Duke Blue Devils. Could it be a second 15 over a 2 from the same day? It had been 11 years since there had been one in this tournament.
Duke's got to play defense without fouling. Lehigh wants to make sure they get a good shot. And most likely they'll try to play through CJ McCollum. Although this kid can make plays too, Mackie McKnight. Look at them spacing the floor. McCollum in the middle. Thornton trying to deny him the catch. Good job by Thornton here. He doesn't want him to get it in your hand tied.
And that is a foul called on Thornton. And that's going to be it for him.
Lehigh wants to get it to McCollum, and there you see Thornton trying to deny him. Just a tad overzealous for too long. Occasionally you can get away with an initial bump, Jim, but that far away from the goal and full sight of the official, at some point you have to back off. Thornton didn't, and he got whistled for the foul.
And of course, we're in the double bonus with 10 team fouls on Duke. Again, Lehigh in the tournament in 1985, 88, 2004, 2010. Never really close to a win. Lost by 16 to Kansas last time out 2 years ago. 2 shots for McCollum. Two big ones.
Doesn't have to be a 3 here if you're Duke. You got to try to get something quick and good. That's a nice drive there.
Rivers splits the defenders. Open the shot. Knutson with the rebound. And we're under a minute to go, and another foul on the Blue Devils.
That was the right play by Austin Rivers to take it strong to the rim.
Third foul on Rivers. Knutson coming to the line. He was a starter as a freshman that last time out in the tournament. And he's got 2. First it was Norfolk State eliminating Missouri. This one perhaps would even generate more shock waves through this tournament.
Well, it was a status quo day yesterday. Things have gotten very crazy here today. Pushed before the shot attempt, so he'll get free throws here.
It's on McKnight. It'll be a 1-and-1. That was just the 9th team foul.
That's exactly what Duke needs to be doing here, Jim. Driving that ball to the goal, trying to get to the foul line and score with the clock stopped. And they're going to need to apply pressure and get some type of help from Lehigh with turnovers or missed free throws to be able to come all the way back at this juncture.
Benajay checking in for the first time in this game. Freshman from Chester, Virginia. Cook, another freshman at the line with a 1-and-1. Mickey Krzyzewski. Shotgun. A lot of faces here in Greensboro right now with 50 seconds to go.
Still not over. Lehigh has to be strong with the ball and make some free throws.
Timeout called by McCollum, who has led them with 28. This remarkable journey to the final minute, trying to take out Duke. Take note, Duke has one timeout remaining. Lehigh just used one. 2 remaining for the Mountain Hawks.
If you're Duke, you pressure, try to force a mistake, and then you've got to foul immediately. You don't have enough time on that clock to let many seconds tick away. Pressure, denied.
They've got Knutson wide open. Knutson slams it home. Buckets. Duke needs the 3, and he delivers it. Still 38 seconds to go, and that was the last timeout for the Blue Devils. I still remember when it happened, Richmond over Syracuse. It was unthinkable, 15-2. Arizona fell victim in that same spot, a 15-2 matchup. South Carolina, Iowa State. Then we waited 11 years until Norfolk State defeated Missouri earlier today. And now you could be adding Lehigh over Duke to that list.
Somebody's got to make sure they're back this time. Duke gave up a layup to Knutson because nobody was back protecting the goal. For Lehigh, it's about getting it in cleanly and then waiting to be fouled.
McCollum is fouled. Benajay is the one who'll send him to the line for 2 more. He's 8 out of 12 tonight at the free throw line, McCollum.
CJ McCollum at the free throw line. 2 shots.
2 shots.
Well, it's been a tough night for an 80+% free throw shooter. McCollum 82% on the year, Jim, and still keeping the door open. I mean, it's a 2-possession game.
And a lot of time at 36 seconds.
Exactly. Even if he makes this, and he almost missed everything.
Almost a whiff. It barely grazed the front of the rim. Rivers with the 3. He is fouled in the act of shooting.
Wow. Wow. That's a good call. Rivers got his body into the defender. And now it changes the complexion completely. Here you take a look, screen, going into the shot, and there's the body bump. Not a lot, but enough to earn the whistle. Now Rivers needs to knock these down and make it a 2-point game.
That was a 4th on Bailey. The body bump is what they called. And it didn't take long for Duke to get down on the floor and have a chance now to trim that lead at 28 seconds.
Well, when you've got a player like Rivers, he can get his shot, and he's got 3-point range, as we saw there. Got to relax now and knock these next free throws down.
He's only 4 out of 7 tonight from the line.
Well, there's been a lot to be desired from the free throw line for both teams tonight. The pressure of a one-and-done environment can make strange things happen to good shooters. So thinking about other stuff, you got to really concentrate on one thing: mechanics and follow through.
This one could bring it down to a 1-possession game.
Now I think you give yourself a little more time to force a turnover if you do. No reason to go right into the foul. I think you apply pressure, give yourself 5-7 seconds perhaps.
They bring Benajay back in. Duke does.
A lot of time left here. I don't think you need the immediate foul. Lehigh will be looking for that.
Pass almost stolen. Rivers had a hand on it. McCollum up ahead. It's knocked down by Hamilton. 23 seconds. Cook fires it quickly. And a rebound to Lehigh's Knutson. Sooners had come so close to stealing that inbounds pass, and then all of a sudden you look down the court. Jordan Hamilton's left alone.
A fortuitous bounce for Lehigh. After this ball, as you said, Jim, almost taken away. And then McCollum with the presence of mind to get it to the wide open teammate.
Brian Kelly. Without Kelly tonight. How big, obviously, that's proving to be.
Yep.
Pretty cool customer here at the line, and Gabe Knutson. Got 17 on the game. Duke with no timeouts left. Rivers short, picks it back up, follows it up, and is fouled. We can cut it to 4 at the line, but still only 7.8 seconds to go. Give me a little perspective when you talk about 15 over 2 in the tournament, and if this ends up Lehigh's way, and again inside of 8 seconds to go, is this
the magnitude
as big
of
as it gets, the biggest ever?
Without question, Jim. The magnitude of this, when you consider who Duke is and what they've been. This year, this team has not been of that caliber, but nonetheless, when you think about Duke, you think championships, you think Sweet 16s, Final Fours.
Some thought maybe they'd be set up for another Kentucky Duke regional final, the 20-year anniversary of the epic regional final in Philadelphia. Just 7.8 seconds to go. Lehigh with the 4-point lead.
But from the beginning of this ball game, Jim, the fight was on. We talked about it in the first half. This stage was not too big for Lehigh. This team believed in itself, relished the moment, and has competed with grit and tenacity from the opening tap.
Mackie McKnight at the free throw line. 2 shots.
I get back to what Coach Reed said going to the locker room at halftime. We're down 2. Don't be surprised, guys, that we're in this game. We didn't play our best. We left a lot out there.
And he was right. They missed a handful of free throws, some easy shots. Duke had its share of misses early, but not nearly as many, I thought, as Lehigh did in that first half.
Got them both. Cook puts up the shot. Got it with 1.2 to go. But again, Duke has no timeouts. Can't set up anything.
Just throw it to the end of the court.
Stunned silence here. Timeout called by Lehigh.
Well, I think you just needed to throw the ball to the other end of the court.
I think
just make sure somebody touched it. It would have been over.
I think Brett Reed wants to remind his team of that. The son of a basketball coach, Brett Reed, and his Mountain Hawks really just have to throw it down the court, have somebody touch it, start the clock.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, he's just reminding them, as you said, just to make sure there's no bizarre ending. But what a game by these young men. I mean, they played extremely well. Tonight, they played the better basketball for longer periods of time.
The only thing you look at their resume, they didn't have a quality non-conference win. They lost to St. John's. They lost at Iowa State. However, they had a quality performance right before Christmas in East Lansing at Michigan State. They led the Spartans by 3 at halftime and lost by 9, 90-81. But here we go to complete the deal. Inbounded. McCollum fouled with 0.4 seconds to go.
Make one and miss the other one, and it's over.
Coach K, his season about to end, and he'll go on and coach the American team in London this summer.
Well, it's been some kind of day so far, hasn't it, Jim?
It's
My
incredible.
goodness.
Well, this one right here is.
Yeah, this is a.
So like I said, it's one thing, the 15 over 2. It hadn't happened in 11 years. But then you factor in that it's Duke on the losing end. And what you have here, folks, one of the all-time shockers. Lehigh defeats Duke in the NCAA basketball tournament.
Wow.
What do you think it's like right now in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania?
Tearing it up. Rocking the house and celebrating like they haven't celebrated before. This team earned it though, Jim. There was no fluke in this performance.
They don't go by the nickname engineers anymore, but they have engineered one of the greatest upsets in the history of this great tournament. Let's send it over to Tracy Wolfson.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Coach. It's the day of the 15 seeds. You guys came in here against Duke in front of their home crowd and pulled it off. How did you do it?
Well, I told our guys we really needed to suspend disbelief because there's so many naysayers, so many prognosticators who are picking seeds to continue to advance. The only thing that really mattered was that we had confidence and belief in ourselves, and fortunately we were able to play together against a very, very good Duke team.
You mentioned the confidence. Where does this team come away with that poise?
Well, I really think it comes from leadership from our seniors who have exhibited the right things that we're trying to promote with our culture. It also has a lot to do with CJ McCollum. He's such an excellent player. He's so calm, cool, and collected, and I think he helps give confidence to all his teammates.
Well, you mentioned him, CJ McCollum, and here he is, right here, the star of the night, 30 points. Congratulations. Lehigh's first NCAA tournament win, and you helped guide them there. What does that mean to this school, to the program, to this team?
It means a lot to me. You know, we worked extremely hard for this. You know, this is for my seniors. I told them all I want to do is get them a win in a tournament, and we got that. But we're not done now. You know, we got a lot of goals for a team. We just want to keep the roll going and keep getting as many wins as we can.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations. Jim, back to you.
A spectacular upset. Now I think, Clark, we understand what instructional technology is. It's Dr. Brett Reed. He's the one that's so cool and calm.
Without question.
He shows that poise that his team exuded and embodied tonight in this stunning performance. Lehigh defeats mighty Duke to advance on to Sunday.